Alright, across the street at my neighbor's place, and have the skid steer over here with the Harley rake because we want to redo this area. Unfortunately, this area is right next to a bunch of pine trees and foliage, so sunlight isn't great. He's had this area redone a few times. Nothing ever really sticks, but I'm going to try a different strategy at this time. And due to that, a lot of moss grows up, so it's a real maintenance type of thing, but I'm going to give it another shot. This is actually the parents of the other guy I work with, Adam, who has the bigger excavators. And of course, he's so busy he never gets over here, but once they figured out I had bought the Harley rake, which Adam doesn't have, he was like, oh, can you get over here and do this? So doing this job today and seeing what we can make of this area to clean it up and get it ready for some grass seed. Alright, got this thing all soil conditionered, Harley raked, and gonna go grab the bucket and tune it up and get some of the edges where I can, and then swing back with the landscape rake. On my way back in, I'm just gonna bring a couple buckets over here because he's got a bunch of extra dirt from when Adam would work here, and I'm gonna put it in here and rake it out for him. I've got everything Harley raked, then bucketed it, and then landscape raked out, so it's nice and fluffed up now and ready for some hydro seed. And it'll be good to go for hopefully quite a few seasons with the right amount of sun, water, and fertilizer. So on to another neighbor project. So just finished up over at my neighbors across the street doing that raking, and now I got to prep over here for the other neighbor job, which is to clear out all of the deadfall behind this neighbor's house. So it's pretty funny. I've basically become friends with all my immediate neighbors and even neighbors up and down the street just because I've been doing exterior work like this. So I've been helping them out with the machines and doing odds and ends here and there. And ultimately I know everybody. But funnily enough, all the neighbors don't know each other. So I feel like the common link between all of them and trying to help them out is pretty fun. So the plan for over here is that there's a bunch of deadfall back here, just as there was in my yard. We have a bunch of standing dead trees too I'm going to try to take down. And really they wanted them cleaned up just because it's hard to see now because we're a month into all the leaves budding. But since they moved up here permanently, they are able to see all of the deadfall now during the winter and during the early spring, whereas before they weren't up here until about this time or a bit later, so you really couldn't see it. So they're just looking to get it cleaned up. And so of course they contacted me to see if I knew anybody that could do that kind of work, and I was like, yeah, me. So it's gonna be a lot easier for me because I won't have to worry about tracking over their yard or getting around their house or doing anything like that. I can just come in from my backyard. So this is what makes it nice, is because I have my own access road here where I can take material in and out. I don't have to worry about driving over a yard, and I don't have to worry about clearances. And since I have all the space back here, I can actually take a lot of that deadfall out, stack it up, and hopefully post it on Facebook as I've done before, and people will come left and right for firewood and campfire wood. And if it's free and I load it, they love it. So my plan will be to take the 50 and sneak it in over here somewhere and track down that way, down through all the trees, and then basically skid all the logs back out and pile them up here, and then I can just pick them up and flop them in a trailer or flop them up here and stack them elsewhere and get them out of here. So it's gonna be so much easier than having to worry about tracking over driveway and a lawn and taking out all the material at once. So we can basically stockpile and take it out as the demand needs. So anyway, before I can attack that project, I wanted to sort out all these rocks, because these are all the rocks from that wall that I demoed on the lake. These are some of the nicer ones that are probably pretty usable within a wall, which I'm still working on over there. But everything back here is all of the random junk that I bucket sorted, and it has like bricks and concrete and rocks and whatever else in it. So there's probably some okay rocks in here I could take as I go, but it's mostly just a pile of backfill. And since it has the brick and concrete in it, it's hard to use it for something more decorative, like using it for up on the edge there, like a riprap, or even just using it as a secondary material for a job. It's kind of like it's really only backfill at this point. So my plan, which I kind of already started, was to strip all this runway down here and rebase all of this with that material, and then take this material and put it back over. So I have a pretty good, base going through here if I ever do turn this into a little road. So the other weekend I just quickly pulled out all the topsoil that was sitting over there and repiled this and stacked this over more. So that pile's now composting a bit more. And then I can come in here and take the skid steer and blast this out over here. And then any of the spillover, I'm just going to pack in the side there because I need to put rock on that anyway. It's just been a battle to even have my equipment at my house. So this equipment will be here for a couple hours today. Then I got to move it for another few jobs, but while it's here, I'll make use of it. Well, I got rid of most of the pile. There's still probably about 6 to 8 yards of it over there. This thing was going to be way too high if I kept putting more material in it. So the excavator's basically out of fuel. I got to bring it to another job, so I'm just going to toss it on the trailer, bring it by the gas station. So I'm going to go through this once I get back from that job with the sorting bucket, so I can take out a lot of those big rocks and just lay them up on the side here, and then get this all graded out, just kind of like I was doing right here. But just need more fuel and time. Yeah, anyways, once I get back with that machine, I'll sort this stuff out and then get these rocks pushed over here. Then we can start tackling all of those trees. Well, I have all the machines back from jobs, so I'm going to finish prepping out this area over here so I can start taking the trees out from over there. Got the rocks kind of separated into the bigger wall rocks here and then just the random scrap in front. That'll give me enough space to take stuff in and out of that ledge over there. Then went through, sorted this stuff out and just tracked it in so there's no big rocks on the top. And then I got all the spare rock that I sorted out of this while backfilling on the edge here for the edge retainment on this lift. And I'm going to continue this type of style all the way out around the rest of the lift once I finish up this job, because I don't expect to have to go back into my neighbor's again. And then I won't have to worry about getting a bunch of tree material all stuck in those rocks and everything like that. But since I'm not going to be starting the tree removal till this weekend, I'm just going to do a couple more small things, like sorting out the remainder of that pile of junk that I had. Most of the stuff in here is kind of like topsoil-y soil, so I'm just going to screen it into this pile here in the back corner and get all the rock out separated. That worked pretty well. I've been pretty happy with that sorting bucket. I try not to do too much with it in terms of like just sorting raw piles of material. I generally like to use it in place when I'm doing that, so I'm just kind of sorting out material as I'm grading, just because putting it in the bucket and then shaking the bucket like crazy just adds wear and tear to the pins, forces all the grease out. Well, it's a nice, warm Saturday morning, and time to venture into the woods here to grab out some deadfall. So I think I'm going to track down this way and kind of explore my way into this section over here. I think for today, since it's kind of a exploratory, I might put the camera on the machine. I never usually do that angle because it's kind of annoying and dizzying, but just for this first part, I think it might be better because you really can't see much, and it's kind of like I got to go through here and figure out where I'm even starting. So. unfortunately with that one, the tree was so stuck in the top, and I do not have enough space to actually pull it all the way out. Pushing it just snapped it, so there's the top hanging up there. Cool, so I got a whole bunch of stuff taken down and piled up. I have all of the dead standing trees taken down. I just gonna take this one that's leaning out. Ultimately, my goal is to try to pile all the nice logs together and then all the junk and then stumps separately so that I can do some loads to the local transfer station and the place where I just bring stumps to, and then hopefully be able to either sell these for a bit of money or just get rid of them for free, because at least with my setup here, I can have people drive up and I can just load their trailers, and really if it's out of my way, whether I get something for it or not, it's better than having to pay to get rid of it or having to drive it somewhere on my own, even if I don't have to pay for it. So yeah, a decent amount of material coming out of here. When I was originally looking at it, I had guessed probably 5-6 trailers worth of logs, and then probably a trailer worth of stumps. And I'd say that's probably on point. So all these piles are basically what's coming out of here. I do have probably another pile worth of stuff on this edge over here next to my yard, because when I had originally cleared it out, I pushed a lot of that deadfall into this space because it was on the line. So there's a couple trees worth up in here, but this is all stuff I can get to with the machine, and it's already pretty much pre-cut because I cut it years ago. And then I was talking with the neighbor over here. He's a pretty good guy. I've given him some hardwood before and talked with him about a bunch of this stuff, but he's happy I'm taking this stuff down too, because I got a bunch of 3 back here that were right next to his boat, and one of them was leaning that way. So glad I got that out of there. But that's all I can do for today, because I got some other arrangements, and when I'll be working out here next, it will be raining, so that's why I wanted to do most of the cutting and takedowns today, and then I can basically just spend all of the next day I'm here just taking all this stuff and tracking it all back to my place. Also, I don't know how the footage actually came out for the in-cab stuff with the time lapse, but in the nature of how this was, there was nowhere to put a tripod, and even if I did put a tripod, you'd just see leaves. So it was sort of what had to be done, but since all the stuff is taken down and kind of localized, probably can use the tripod for the next set of work. Well, that probably wasn't the most interesting vantage point, but I basically just had to go through the monotony of tracking all of the material out with the excavator because I didn't want to clear cut the whole area down there. I wanted to leave as many saplings as I could aside from the pathways I had to make to get to all the trees. So because of that, unless I cut every tree to like 6-foot logs, I would have to use the tilt rotator to actually get the logs in between all the other trees. So using the skid steer down there with the grapple would have been nice, but it would have taken me so much longer because I would have had to cut every single one of these logs down, and I would have gotten caught on trees because there'd be one sticking out too far to the left or the right. So overall wasn't too bad. I estimated it would be about a day of this work here, and that's about what it was. It was 3 hours the other day, about 4 to 5. So my original plans with the materials was this. The stuff I was going to pile up front was all the junk that I'm just going to get rid of first. Was planning on getting rid of it at the stump dump, and then after that worrying about getting rid of all of those logs back there for a couple bucks or free. Anybody that wants to come, I'll just load them up, and then the brush behind that can just go to the brush dump for free in town because it's all small enough material. But the more I was thinking about it, since I'm right next to my house and I have a lot of open space back here, I just have these 4 oaks. I think that I'm just going to pile it all in the center back there, and I'll take the other brush I have and just burn it. I have to check with, I'll check with my fire department. My neighbor's dad was the head fire chief. He's retiring this year, and he's told me that I should just burn this stuff when I'm on job. So I'll double check with him and see what the rules are in town. And it being right here next to my property, it makes it really easy to have all my equipment here. I can manage the fire from my own house. I don't have to worry about driving back and forth, timing the rain, and it'll be something that'll be a little bit fun to do. So that'll save me, if I can do that, that'll save me a lot of time and effort loading trailers, because this material that's right here, this is probably about 3 to 4 trailer loads of material, and then I got probably another 1.5 in that brush pile back there, maybe just 1. So, you know, that would be 4 or 5 just garbage dump trips. All right, it's been a few months, and by a few months I mean about half a year since I did all of the work over here. So I pulled all of this stuff up sometime in May, and it's January now. And back when I pulled it out, originally I was planning on loading it all out, and during the time I said, you know what, maybe it's worth burning it because it's all just a bunch of junk that'll probably go up pretty quick. And so basically I've just been waiting for it to have the right weather to even burn the stuff. And over the whole fall and even into early winter, we've had red flags up, so no fires could be burned because it was so dry. And now we finally got a layer of snow. It rained all last night, and no wind today. So I'm thinking it's time to finally set this up. And we're supposed to get more snow tonight, so I think everything's going to be good. Charlie's taking away all these sticks and spreading them out like usual. But we'll see how much of this stuff we'll actually get to burn through. A lot of it is rotted. Most all of it's pine, so it should go pretty quick. And I'll have to sneak the machine back down to grab all the junk over there to burn that. But to get started, I gotta move these trailers out of the way so I can grab the material up. Took a little bit of coaxing to get it to go, but finally got it up. It's really the problem is everything's so soaked through right now that it takes quite a bit of fuel to get it started. But this pile is gonna likely disappear pretty quick because it's all thin and small stuff like vines and dead hemlocks and stuff. So I'm gonna try to get this pile going and then start throwing the bigger stuff on top once this burns down a bit. Well, that burned out pretty good. Luckily we got that snowstorm last night, so that helped manage the fire, and as we can see, the whole thing pretty much burned down except for a couple little scraps around the outside, which is what I was expecting. So now I can just take that ash and mix it in with my pile over there and take the rest of the remains over to the dump. The only stuff that I didn't really burn was these really big rotted logs, along with a small handful of the larger stumps that just weren't going to burn down, which is fine. I can just take this in a trailer load with that other stuff that was going to have to go anyways. Well, it's kind of hard to see because all the snow, but all of the junk is out of here. The only thing I have left are the cut-off logs, which I can hopefully offload for free to people who want them for campfire wood. I've done that quite a few times in the past. So basically just have to take out this one last trailer load and slow offload the rest of these logs.